Hello. Oh my goodness. What's going on, guys? Hey, I'm ready. I'm super excited. Get to build our own spaceship today from scratch. We're gonna have some of the fellas helping us out with that. So I'm ready to learn. I'm ready. I got my thinking hat around here somewhere back there. We're ready to go. We're gonna learn how to put the frame together, how to design the whole thing for Starbase from A to B. We're probably just gonna do this in sessions though, so we'll spend a couple hours maybe doing some frame stuff today, so the guys can kind of walk me through, so I fully understand that. And then we'll spend the next couple days taking part of the stream to work on our spaceship. So it's gonna be pretty neat to design and build one, and hopefully you guys will learn something too. And yeah, it'd be fun. So that's the whole idea. That's the whole idea. Trying to keep it simple, stupid for me, myself, and I. We'll see what happens here. All right, let's see what we got. Let's see who's in the chat to start the evening off. All right, I see Cerberus is already out there. Cloud's out there. Epic Fail in the house with us. Let's see who else we got in the chat. We got 404 Bunson's out there. Cryozen's back with us. Dark Harmony, Demoiled Floor, Dunkin' Donuts. Emerald Dragon's here. Fat Ducks 8, Godimus. We have Hyrule is out there. Jedgar's in the house as well. Laddie's hanging out watching us, as well as he's going to be on the air with us, trying to guide my misdirection in the correct direction, hopefully. Lord UW, we got Shino Dad out there. Slayers is out there. Sword George Vice versa man. I always screw it up. Sorry. War is also going to be hanging with us as well. So we got all the guys and the gals. Let's see what we can do here in this awesome spaceship mode thing. All right, let's figure out where we're going to be at. What channel we're going to be in. And we got all that stuff going. Hey, I see Cloud. What's up, Cloud?
What up?
Hey, I see Cloud. Yeah.
Maddie said he'll be back in a second.
That's cool. So, we're going to try to see if we can get out of this interface here first. I don't even know how to get out of this interface now that now that I mention it. But let's go. That way we can start everybody from the very beginning. And we'll figure it out. All right. So what you're looking at, before Laddie gets back in here, this is the multi-group shipbuilder thing. So you can go over to the shipbuilding station, which is the ship designer pink building or whatever it's called over here. And this is where you actually sculpt and design your spaceship without using any materials. So you can kind of, play around, get good concepts and ideas. And when you're all done, then you have your print. Then it will tell you the resource requirements for said print. Then you get the material. Then you come back with the material and some moolah, and you can push out your ship. And that's the overall high-level scope of what goes down when you're making a spaceship. There are two modes. There's single user, and then there's multi-user, where you can get multiple people on the field together and kind of do the thing. So Laddie's going to be guiding my hand, so to speak, so we can do this correctly and I can figure it out. What's going on, Laddie?
Not much. I was just popping out another ship for one of the guys above.
Yep. Awesome.
So,
all right. So I think we resolved we're going to make a mining ship because we're kind of familiar with it, and I've been wanting to make a multi-crew mining ship. So I think that's what we're going to play with here and try to figure out the frame and all that. And plus, it's something the guys are pretty familiar with since we've been pumping them out of the template and putting them out there. So hopefully I won't be totally lost on how to do this thing.
mm-hmm.
All right, so what do we start? We start with the frame, right? That's the first basis.
Always the beams. Always the beams and frame.
Always the beams. So we got all these beautiful folders over here on the asset browser, which is this folder up here. We're going to dive into beams, and then we got 5 selections of beams. We got angle beams, corner beams, intersection beams, special beams, and straight beams.
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm not wrong, the original miner is mostly straight beams, right? It's really boxy.
Yes.
Okay.
So the intersection beams used to have to be used all the time because there used to be attachment plates that went between the things.
Okay.
Now there's an invisible welding that goes on in between them, so you technically don't need intersection beams anymore,
Okay.
although it helps a bunch.
What, for carrying weight and load, or what? What's the big benefit of using them now that you don't have to use them, but they're still worth it because of?
It's aesthetics.
Okay.
There are different beam designs that help sort of cheat the system almost sometimes in terms of the stress calculations of the game.
Okay.
I can show you that if you would like, or we can just go into a normal build and just try and figure that out as we go.
I think we do a normal build and figure out as we go. Now, the one question I was going to have, if we're making this ship more designed for safe space or PvP space or what? Because it's going to be a miner. But I don't know if we want to make it to where it's got any shielding or not, because we brought up that point. If you're doing a miner mostly in safe space, you don't need to worry about doing a lot of plates and all that crap, because you're not going to get attacked or damage your ship. I don't know if we need to worry about that in PvP or not.
So it really depends. If you feel confident that you can sneak around in the PvP zone without being caught, that is something that we can do. One of the things that we would probably design for if we wanted to try and sneak around is that we would try and use coolant cells, which deplete over time and would have to be regenerated. But those coolant cells don't dissipate any radiation, and radiation will eventually be an aspect of the game that you can use a scanner for, so you can find enemies or objects around you. Objects being some station siege aspects.
Gotcha. Well, maybe we should just keep it simple for now. We'll make it like on the preface that it's going to be mostly in safe space, or if we're risking it for the biscuit, we'll have it out there, and if what happens, happens, and we'll have to replace it.
Understandable.
So we'll keep it simple. We'll maybe go to an advanced class later on, like, this is how you make it cloak. Scan proof. So, all right. So we probably want to start out then with, are we going to use intersection beams too, or are we going to just use the straight beams, or what would you recommend here?
Let's use some of the straight beams. Just, I think we should use some of the intersection beams on the exterior part.
Okay.
But regardless, let's start with making a box. So take some of your beams. We're probably going to go with, let me see what size looks realistic. The cockpit, from what we were talking about with how big it needs to be, I would say it needs at least the 384 straight piece to go across.
Okay.
So start by placing one of those down.
All right. Doesn't matter where we place it. We're just getting them on the field for right now, right?
Correct.
Okay. So we click drop one of those.
All right. We should be able to attach another to that.
For a straight line? Or are we going parallels here? Are we just trying to make a straight side of this overall structure, I think? Like that?
Yep.
Okay.
That is how it's done.
All right. And how far do we get? We don't have to weld this or anything, because it's just a design feature right now, right?
You will have to weld it.
Okay,
but
so
not right now.
Okay. So even in design mode, you would assemble it and have to weld it just like you would if you're not in a design mode, so to speak. So that way you know where every weld is, every bolt, all that. All right, let's see. There's 2 modes you can go into this. If you hit tab, you can scroll around and get like this first person flyby mode. And then the other mode is more on rails, where you're just using WSAD, moving in and out and all that stuff. Cargo beam, resource modular cargo crate. I just want to see, I'm just using it for perspective to drop it out here on the field real quick. Yeah, you can have your friends in the editor with you. You both can't select the same part at the same time, and only the host of the session can save the session, supposedly. That's the way it supposedly works. I don't know, because it's the first time I'm ever doing it. On the board out here, when you come in the room the first time, you can't see it because I'm already in the session. which I honestly don't even know how to get out of right now.
You go up to File and Exit
Yeah.
on the top left.
So when you come into the station, there's actually a billboard, and it'll say single build session or group, and you choose the group one, and then they can join on that group one.
So technically, you can have someone working on the frame while someone else is planting stuff.
Right, or
and
putting
someone doing
panels
wiring.
in, or doing crates, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, or welding, or anything. So you could do multiple people working on the same unit.
All right, how we looking?
Well, we're just still getting the frame because I was trying to get my head around the best way to do this. So I'm trying to build in these, like we were talking about, those intersection pieces.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put them on every bar so that way we can do cross beams, because at the width end at this, I want it to be pretty firm structure.
Uh-huh.
So that's kind of
Yeah,
what
this
I'm...
looks like a massive ship, so we should be able to thrust or put a shit ton of thrusters on here.
Well, that's what I was kind of thinking. It'd make it nice and big. But we'll see what it is. But it's going to be a multi-crew ship, so I mean, you want them kind of big.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if it's impractical, we can always scale back. I mean, it's not like, I'm not really a scale back guy. I'm kind of a scale up guy, but we'll figure it out. I had to find the right connector for what I'm doing. So this is the bottom of the frame. This is what we're looking at right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to put these connectors on in between every single one of them. We should just do the same thing both sides. And then we'll be able to go up from here, and it'll give us a nice, strong superstructure. I like using the connectors, too. I don't know. I haven't seen anybody use these. I've seen everybody just welding bars together.
Yeah, so that's something that a lot of people have done more recently because of the welding thing.
Yeah.
I personally love the different intersection beams and the things that you can do to make it look better.
Well, I think isn't this going to make it stronger using these pieces anyway?
Yes, and also possibly no, because these might be the low stress points. But I don't think we will run into that issue.
Okay.
It's just usually the smaller a piece, the higher likelihood of it being warp stressed out.
Okay. Well, it's something that's good to know, right? Like, the way we can figure that out, so we'll know if we need to not put these in there or not. I mean, is there a way to tell that after we're done with, like, the bottom part of the structure, or no?
So we won't be able to tell that until we attach a thruster to this piece.
Oof.
So you can't really tell all that with the durability and the stress. The stress will change as you add more thrusters on.
Yeah.
So it ends up being something that eventually we might have to make a few adjustments, but I don't see it being that big of a problem. Personally, I don't see it happening here at all.
All right. That side's good.
All right.
We'll come up here and finish up the front. Triangles are stronger, ask the Egyptians. Well, the other thing you could do is you could do cross bracing in here, but you got to consider weight too when you start going a little crazy with these things. Because if you start doing too many cross pieces, so our triangles are stronger, but at the same time, if you have many, many more triangles, you can make your frame weigh 2 to 3 times more. So it's always a balance act.
Yeah, there's also no easy way to make triangles with beams here. The best you can do is either a circle with some angled beams or a square with normal beams.
Okay. Twist is saying try and do a U shape with the cockpit or something like that, so that way the driver kind of sits back a little more and it gives more extension for the gunners and whatnot. But I don't know.
I think I know what he's referring to. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know what he's referring to. Sort of like how I was saying, it's almost like the pod racers with the pieces sticking out in
Yep.
front, two little horns.
I like that idea. I really do. I think that's a pretty cool idea. Plus, back here in the back, if we're going to go with this idea of these sections, we should probably do the back wall the same. Just cut this off and kind of put those sections there. So we have 3 main struts coming up to make nice boxes all the way around, right?
We could do that.
Yeah.
You can pull up to a rock and just wrap around it. Eat
Well,
it
yeah,
up.
get the asteroid between the 2 guys almost doing it, and it's like, there you go. Yep. Well,
Maybe something here for now.
well, we're going to have to put the ones in between it. So we'll have to go, I'm thinking like this. So you'll go back, right? So it's going to make it a little wider even, in other words. Because we'll have copy. Gosh, I got to get used to moving around this thing. It's weird.
It takes a lot of getting the hang of it, but
there was a game I used to play that was exactly like this movement. I can't remember what it was. It was almost like Portal or something.
Like Extreme Tetris.
3-dimensional Tetris. It's like, no.
You just gotta play that Russian music.
Yeah.
how do you like sort of like this little look here?
What you got up front? Oh, is this gonna be it don't matter which one's the front, but yeah, we could do something like that. We might even go more extreme than that.
Okay.
I'm trying to think how
I'll
big
copy this over to the
the
front.
asteroids are. I'm trying to think here.
Then
Like the smaller ones are
which,
like too
size.
wide.
Yeah, it
The
depends
bigger
what
ones
size. The size is really drastic as you get larger. The tier 3 ones, I would say probably how wide these 2 beams are is roughly about the same. Maybe they might be a little bigger.
The larger ones are like maybe 4 wide.
Okay. What if large ones are 4 wide? Wow.
Well, it depends if you're talking about tier 6 or not. Tier 6 is massive.
Yeah, I posted a picture in the Discord showing like the robot size compared to the different rocks, and they get pretty huge.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should just square this out like we were doing, and then make this make the arms like an extra bolt onto this somehow. Like we'll bend it in there, but because I mean I don't know if 2 wides would be wide enough to do that or not. Then because it's like I'm just trying to think gunner wise. Is it better to have them extended out, or is it better to have a flat face surface where everybody's got the same reach? Because if we do a U shape like this, and we have fixed mounted lasers up top, I'm gonna have to position them to where they hit, and then if these guys reach out farther than what those lasers do, then the fixed mount.
I see what you mean.
I'm just trying to think it out. You know what I mean? I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just like,
Yeah.
because if I was worried about doing tier 6, I would actually have the arms be like almost all the way out here and come up just like short. So that way your guys are sitting like right here and there, and then they could carve in like this.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if you want it that close to your glass, because half the time you can't stop these big son of bitches when you get all the cargo on them too.
Yeah. Let's at least put down the frame like this for now.
Okay.
When we go to actually look at the size of it later, once we weld it all, we can always adjust it then, because it's not that big of a change.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna make this side the front over here, I think.
Okay. We need to probably push this wall out towards you that way because we're gonna have these space. Yeah, see, it's gotta slide. The whole side's gotta slide out. And then we'll need to put a corner piece here instead of this type of piece, I guess.
Well, that's if you want the intersection piece here. Otherwise, it just welds there.
Yeah.
So if you want that, I'll do that.
Well, I mean, I'm just trying to think. If you go with corners, you probably want everything to have a corner, right?
Not necessarily, but it's personal preference.
Yeah. Well, the only reason I'm saying that is because, like, and I can't draw it, but like this piece here I selected on the far right, this one I'm sliding out and in. You're going to want it to cross over and brace with the other one. And if you don't have the same type of corner setup, is it going to cross over and brace there? You know what I mean?
Sorry, I'm just trying to think sort of the process.
Yep, I get you. Well, here's what I was originally thinking. Something like this. You put the corners on the inside here. Right? The correct way, of course, though. Like that.
Okay.
And then back at the back corner, we don't need these here at all. You can put these straight beams. See, we can delete these because they don't need to. There's nothing on the other side to bolt to on the reinforcement. Yeah. So if you wanted, you could just put straight bars back off those. Yeah. And then on the inside part here, we'd have to have corners go. Let's move that out of the way for now. We'll probably use it still, but we just have. If I can get oriented correctly, this one would probably have to be not that barred. It's going to be one of these, like this, and then get that tied in there. Hang on. I'm waiting for Scrub to pop in and say, "Oh, that's useless. You don't need to do any of that."
I'll server mute him.
Yeah. You see right there, like, because now you're lined up. See how like we could put a bracing between the two? That's what I'm thinking for each side, and then this gives us our U drop back to there.
This okay in the back?
Yep. Yep, that's perfect. You're just going to want to cap them with the same type of stuff. So we're just make it, it's going to look like very checkerboard by the time we're done. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Did you want it one beam tall or two?
Well, even if it's 2 beams tall, you're still going to have to cap them so we can bring the line all the way down here like you're hanging sheetrock almost, is the way I'm picturing. Getting one of these. This is really cool being able to work it on it all together. I like this though. This is neat.
Yeah. As the guys, Cloud and I, with us not being the primary guy, it still can be buggy every once in a while. At least it was in closed alpha whenever you used the weld tool or the bolt tool. So if that happens, we'll just need to reload into this. You will be perfectly fine the entire time.
Okay.
But the group mode is so much enjoyment just because you can have multiple people working on one project.
Right. And something this big, when you know it's just, hey, we're just doing a frame, like to start with, it's pretty intuitive to where it's like, oh, I see what you're doing. Okay, let me help do this part. That's why Cloud's able to do the back. And now I don't know what size beams we're going to need in between to make this fit correctly, obviously.
That is where I'm coming in. One of these, and then we'll just have to put in a 36 here. Okay, not 36, 48.
Okay. And then we'll extend. Then see, we got a nice grid where we can fill all that in. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, and see, it should line up to where it's all good all the way through, and then we can do the 4 ways all the way through the cross section there, and I'll reinforce that. Now, if we decide, hey, this isn't wide enough through here that we want, we can taper it off and go half this square out farther. And see, and then it makes this nice, cool staggered back thing, and then the arms are out longer. If we decide that's an issue later on, but either way, we have the superstructure to start with there on the bottom. Looks good. Looks good. I like it. How tall is that one? Yeah. Well, that one's a little short. We just had to put the. Oh, we got to put the airpiece in.
Yeah, it just takes a little finagling.
Yep. Now, the ones we put here in the middle, we're probably going to want them flat, though, aren't we? Or maybe not the first ones, but wherever the walk around area is going to be. I don't know if you want those.
Possibly. It depends if
because you're going to want cargo, and they're probably going to be within the superstructure, these walls in the exterior, like here, right?
Yeah.
And then the main part here, wherever you put in the middle, is probably the only one you're going to want flat, because this will be the only area that may be walkable for the most part. Yeah. That makes sense. Well, you might get a flight a few months after building. It could go that way.
Well, yeah, pretty much. I would hope not, but
the more I look at it, it's not as big as you think when you start looking at the cargo crates.
It definitely is big, but
is it bigger than a 200 really, though?
Frame-wise, yes, but depends how we build out on it. Because
well, if you got this good framing, we could plate it and make it PvP minor.
We always could.
Yeah, we'll see what we come up with when we get to that stage.
I mean, the main goal right here is probably just learning how the ship design works.
Yep.
Because you'll learn once you know how to build the ship, you'll know how to repair it, then you'll be tweaking with your ships that you have currently, and then you'll learn more.
Yep.
Hey, Led, I got a stupid question.
Nothing is stupid. What's up?
What's the toggle button for for stations? Turn them off and on, because I clicked it and I don't know what it is.
For station transponders?
Like all yeah.
You probably pressed F3 by accident to hide your HUD.
It is. Yep. That's it. Thank you.
Yep. Another happy customer.
There you go. I think you're going to need, because we're going to go up at least 2, right? I'm trying to calculate here. Because this will probably be 2 stories tall, won't it? When we're done.
Probably.
what I'm thinking. So probably have to ixnay that one. Yeah. Put in this guy. Oop. Voila.
I feel like an iron worker building a skyscraper.
I know, right? Well, but the more I do it, the more I'm like, oh, I can just cut this whole section and duplicate it and do this, and then this works like that. And
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good old copy paste.
yeah,
Yep. while we're just copying most of these things on, is there any like questions I can answer regarding like how certain options are used or something like that?
I think on this frame part, I'm starting to get. I guess when we get to the wiring part, or at what point do we start welding? I mean, you probably don't want to weld till you have most of your structure laid out, because I can see where we're making changes on the fly a lot, and that could be a
Well,
problem if you're
the
welding while you're doing it, right?
the thing is, you can always weld while you're going because you'll be able to tell which beams specifically aren't welded, and when a beam is welded, it doesn't mean that you can't interact with it anymore. If you move it, it'll unweld itself, and you'll have to re-weld it. But there should be no issue if you want to weld as you go.
Okay.
I personally like to, just so that I don't have to press apply to all to weld, but that's personal preference more than anything.
All right. One thing I've noticed is like, see right here where the seam is, where we've done these smaller beams through this whole half of the ship. I'm thinking that's pretty narrow. If this is going to be the walk area, like say from here to here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if we shouldn't swap out the smaller beam that we had here with just take the ship, go ahead and widen it out, and put in one large beam here so it's symmetrical on width.
Okay. Give me 1 second. I should be able to do that in like 2 seconds.
I was going to say, because it looks like it'd be pretty easy to do at this stage before we get more complicated. The only beam change out we'd have to be would be the upper one there. And then the rest of it, yeah.
And if you jack it up, there's always the undo.
Right. Because it's like Photoshop, right? Control Z. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Might need a 3-beam for this.
I kind of wish the spacebar would make you go up. Like rise and fall.
Yeah, I mean, you can use it to move yourself and you just have to re-angle yourself. But I personally like the controls only because I've gotten used to them. Probably more Stockholm Syndrome than anything else.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. Symmetrical.
I like it. Plus, it gives it that wider width between the bars we were looking for up front. Anyway, so that works out well.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So which intersection piece do I need with a topper there? It is
Probably be a 3.
looks like it'd be a 4 because it goes up on this back corner right here.
Oh, that, yes.
So that'd be a 48 4 then? No, maybe.
Yes, we have been using 48s.
Yeah, that's not the right shape though. The one I got in my hand.
Yeah, there's 2 4-1s.
Yeah, let me find the right 4 one. No, that's not
Actually,
it.
wait, I think that was the right 4-1 that you just placed.
I placed that. It's a 5.
It's a 5.
Intersection K.
No, because it's a corner though.
That's that.
Yeah, how did you do that? Which one was
That was a 4. That was the
Intersection
beam
J.
intersection. Yeah, that was the J.
Okay, that
Yeah.
was the J piece. Got it. Got it. Which is what we're going to want in this back corner, too, then. This is going to be a J. Try to rotate it the correct way, I guess. No? This isn't right either. How did you get it shaped like that? I don't understand. I'm confused.
You have multiple different rotation ways, so you can press X, Y, and Z to change the rotation in your hand.
Yeah. But it doesn't go down, up, and make a corner. I don't think that's the same one you did. I gotta figure this out. Just copy. Paste. It says it's the same one though. How is that
Yeah,
possible?
it's the same one. I think you might just be pressing too many and just spamming and hoping.
Oh, I see what I did. Okay, I see which way it goes now. Yeah.
Who has this middle piece selected? Is that you, Cloud?
Yeah.
Let go of it for a second. I need to copy that and add the spacing.
I was fixing it.
I fixed it first. So in these exterior bits, this is where you wanted to put the cargo crates, right?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Okay, before we go any further, we should probably find the positioning we want to put these.
Okay.
So we have to see if we need to put any more beams to support them.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. I was just trying to get all our corners and inside corners and all that stuff done here real quick.
Okay, so in these, you can fit the boxes pretty comfortably like this.
Mm-hmm.
We could do this, or we could attach them all together and just raise it up so instead of sinking into the beams a little, it's all connected to the same data network.
Nice.
So
So what's that going to calculate out to? Are we going to do 3x3 cubes in each one, right? Because that's about how many. What's it go? 3 stacks tall.
Yeah. So what's that? 27.
27 per cube. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I don't know if you want to put them in front of arms too. That's 16 times 27. It's a lot. That's just for the first story there.
Yeah, that's 432 crates.
It's a lot of crates. You think we'd be able to hack that much on here, or what?
Well, the most I've seen on a ship in the past was 500, so it would be possible. We would definitely have to make the butt of this ship big and add a lot of thrusters onto it.
Plus, you're not going to be able to use every one of those because you have a door to get in too, right?
Yeah. You can have a hatch at the top.
Well, we're also not thinking about the second story here, so we could do like the 2 arms go back, like these first 2 squares. We could start that back here and go crates up and in the second story too, just on each side for balance and not have to have it so front heavy. But I don't know if you maybe put. Would we want some crates in the front for balance, or how would we want to do that? How's that pan out? Because I know it's like you get all kinds of weird stuff happening whenever you're have too much weight on one
if
side
you do
versus
have
the
too
other.
much weight, there can be issues, but at the same time, it all depends on where you position thrusters to counteract that.
Right.
Because you can have thrusters put all over the place so that when you're trying to go forward, they'll make sure that you stay going forward as best as possible.
Right. I'm just also thinking about how the guns are going to work up front. So I'm sitting, if you have the pilot sit right here, his view is not going to be too obfuscated as long as they don't go out further. I think this is pretty good.
Either that or we make the pilot sit above,
Like up here.
like in the second floor right there.
It's true. We could do that, and then he'd be... Yeah, I kind of like the idea of that.
Yeah. So maybe we can make the pilot chair right up there on that
Yeah.
second floor, have an entrance above, and then down below we put all the finer like generators and stuff.
Right. So then it wouldn't matter because you could have him come. You could even have him come in if you wanted to do a side entrance like what we did the other one. It'd just be up a floor, like on either side here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I would just have that way. This cockpit could go back to like maybe here, like the whole interior cabin, and this should give you at least 2 to 3 sections for internals or whatever you want to do. However far we need to go back with that. Yeah, that worked. I think that's good.
Okay.
So we'll just plan on putting the pilot on the second floor. Most of its cargo and engine room and workings and stuff below that. So it's like a whole below sub deck.
Mm-hmm.
That'll work.
Yeah, right now I'm trying to get the framework set up for these cargo crates.
Okay.
I'll show you what I did when I finish, just if you care.
Yeah, I do care. So once you have it boxed in, you can just copy pasta the crate and like re-put it in each one, right?
Yeah, so I'm just putting beams around it because on these right now, they're synced in a little. So if you look at the bottom, you'll see that it's sunk in a little. I'm just going to try and put a few beams like as just anchor points, I guess.
Yeah.
In a few areas. And just because overall we want to put enough beams so that these will stay.
Okay. How does the cabling interface with these? Do they have to socket in a certain point for the cargo, or does that even matter?
So you just have to connect to one of these. So if you press 5 on your keyboard, it'll pull up your cabling and piping tool.
Okay.
You'll see all the blue dots appear, and you'll see that it's in the center of the
I see.
the cargo crates.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they have to be both cabled and piped. Let me double check. Yeah, they have to be both cabled and piped. So that's just something that we can do pretty easily.
Mm-hmm. So to bear the load better, would it make sense to, like for beam wise, would you do cross beams in these?
I'm going to try and do that at least to set the beams in.
Yeah.
We might only need to do it on 2 sides
Okay.
or 4 sides, but to make it most efficient, I know at least the one side I'm going to put them in.
Okay. Appreciate you taking the time to do all this stuff.
Yeah, no problem. Like I said, the beamwork is not my favorite part. My mind right now is stuck on the waiting to get to the interior part,
Yeah.
but I am ready to get to that. So sometimes you gotta push through the bad part.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is, since we're doing, like, I have a really interesting idea for a combat ship, but that's something I'll probably pedal on by myself later, because I want to do something that I think would be straightforward, people would understand, and it's box design. So it's not like, hey, we're trying to do crazy angles and all that stuff. It's like something pretty. It doesn't have to be the most beautiful ship, but it's going to be really rigid and highly functional.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I'm more than willing to help you out with that because I heard no crazy angles.
Yep, no crazy angles. That's the thing. It's like when I do the combat stuff, there might be some crazy angles that I'll play with solo. So
Yeah, the only issue I have with the crazy angles is just the plating for it.
yeah,
It becomes just an absolute mess, and I don't wish that upon anybody.
yep. I'm also interested in how plating works as far as combat stuff goes, because I have some ideas for like multi-level plating, and subplating and all that stuff. But of course, it makes some of the ships so damn heavy. Then you have to counteract that, and so
Yeah.
it's interesting.
Yeah, it also depends on what material you make everything out of on those ships as well, then.
Yeah,
Because if you make it out of the uh, weaker but super light material, you might be able to put an extra one on. But a lot of people, at least in the closed alpha, would be putting really heavy armor materials.
right.
That would be very difficult to get, obviously, in a large quantity, but they would be putting that over just their generator units or propellant tanks.
Mm-hmm.
So those areas were the most protected.
Yeah. Final Vectors is asking where are the Star Destroyers and TIE Fighters. I 100% guarantee before I'm done with this game, even if I go back to New World then come back, I will make a TIE Fighter in this. It will happen. There will be a TIE Fighter occur.
I know that there have been different ships made. They may not be super functional, but I've seen one TIE Fighter looking ship during the closed alpha, and I've also seen the pod racer made.
Yeah.
That pod racer was pretty cool because they used a few small designs to make it look that much cooler. Like, I don't know if you probably would remember. Do you remember how the pod racers have that little electricity
Yeah.
piece in the front?
Yep.
They made that by connecting 2 resource bridges together
Oh,
manually.
that's pretty good idea.
Yeah, that's something that completely made me like, wow, they really thought of everything.
Yep, that's pretty neat. I was thinking the TIE Fighters, as far as functionality goes, since you don't really need wings in the game, make the wings of the TIE Fighter the shields, like they're like protectors, so they're multi-layered, like meant to take hits, whereas the pod itself is like you could just fly the pod.
Yeah, you could do that, or you can actually make use out of them by adding different maneuvering thrusters onto them.
Yeah.
Since adding the maneuvering thrusters will allow you to
because the farther you're out from center mass, the more you can rotate, right?
Yeah, it gives you that much more control over your ship.
Yep. So I was thinking too, I was like, well, you have the extra ones, but the core pod itself, if it had to get away, it's literally a ball, right? And if you lose your wings and everything, you got to get out of there, you can just like gun it and just the ball will get out of there like an escape pod at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is looking good. My God, this thing's gonna be a cargo Megatron. think we might need more braking thrusters on this one than the other.
Yeah, the other one also, I want to take a look at your ship at some point just to make sure, because since it was one of the first ones,
Yeah.
I have a feeling there's a few thrusters that aren't working on it.
Well, on the rear, we've checked, and all the thrusters are working. Now, one of the things that threw people off, some people said they saw a thruster or two not working, but that's because I drained my fuel cells completely. And then you get intermittent operation on them whenever I'm doing that final drain before I swap them out.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that was happening. So because somebody like, hey, you had a thruster, I'm like, no, watch, I'll put all the new ones in, and they all work fine.
Yeah, there's just a few of the like triangle ones on the side that aren't attached to that main group.
Yeah.
That I do know they were having some issues with different naming.
Gotcha.
So I do want to check those.
Okay. But yeah, I'm
that
thinking the
definitely
reverse
needed-
thrusters on these I need, because even on the 200, man, I hit the home key and my God, it's not, when that thing gets full, it ain't stopping that much, you know?
Yeah, it is not.
And this one's gonna be the same problem. We're gonna have to double up the reverse thrusters just to control so we don't ram and destroy the asteroids. I destroyed a couple asteroids, in the safe zone because it didn't hurt you. I was like, oh, that's a good one. Boom. And it like shattered almost. I was like, well, so much for the goodness. I couldn't stop the ship in
I
time.
wish that was like a mining technique where you just destroy it then scoop it all in.
Right, it scoops anyway, but they make sure in the game not to reward that behavior, because if you could, I would make a ship that would just ram shit with collectors, right? You just run into the asteroid and it's like, hoovers it up. That'd be awesome. Call it the crusher. You're just ramming asteroids and it's just eating them. Yeah, this is gonna be good. How many did we say it's gonna be? 400 and.
If it's 16 by 27, it is 432.
432.
We're probably not going to put these back too, so it might be a little less.
Yeah.
Which isn't honestly that big of a deal.
No.
It's always good to leave some way so that you can get in and access it.
I mean,
So
if
you
we
don't
wanted
have
to, wanted to make it that 400 or 500, we could always put something up, double it up here if we really were that, like, oh my God, we need to do that.
Most of the large ships that people have made in the past have had some sort of like RP looking aspect, like the one that I bought in closed alpha off of a player or the dev shop. It had a conference room.
Yeah.
There was another one that looked like it had a bathroom with a respawn station.
See, I'm a lot more utility when it comes to a lot of the industrial ones. Now, when we get to the capital ships and Star Destroyers, surely we'll have some some elements that'll be kind of neat, because there's some spaces in those that'll be like whatever. But I do want to make a ship carrier where we can put our fighters on the main ship and deploy them and do all that stuff at some point when we get down the road towards caps and stuff. It'd be kind of cool.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to the capital ships.
Yeah.
I think that will probably be the main reason to own a station for at least the first month in order to make one of those.
And I think at some point it's like they're more valuable than stations because they move. They're essentially floating stations. So I think the capitals are going to be cool. We'll have like one or two main stations. We got a safe zone, then probably a PvP station, because you need one out there for the better resources, but then have a cap. And that's where, that's your main jive, is like you're rocking the capital ship.
Oh yeah. I should have hopefully that PvP foundation unlocked by tonight.
Cool. Yeah, the processing's the thing. The processing and building is frustrating to me, though, as far as like you can't build out of the inventory of a mining ship because you don't actually have a storage, right? Your storage is the cargo, and thus the items don't go back in the cargo, so it makes sense you couldn't build from the storage of the cargo in a mining vessel.
Yeah, but at the same time, there is a bunch that I feel like the devs need to implement that is broken because you should be able to, and then it should tell you there's no room in your inventory
Right.
if the object you were making was too large.
100%.
So I do feel like that was an oversight by the devs that should get fixed. I've
Yeah.
already reported it. I've already messaged one of the devs personally that I've talked to. They said that is something that should eventually get fixed, but with how many other things with different duplications based on the physics glitches,
Yeah.
that's a little more priority.
Understandably.
All right, how's this for that side of orc rates?
Looks good to me. I'd just copy pasta that to the other side, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yep. Symmetry is a beautiful thing. Helps with constructing too. So you could basically almost delete the half side, flip it over, and I'm starting to wonder though if we want to have the gunners on top, or if we want to have them maybe sit right here.
We'll have like the first 2 cubes be a gunner deck.
Yeah, and just then there'll be a door here to walk out to here, right, from the interior of the cargo. It's a thought. So when you select that like that, are you just holding down Shift Select, or are you doing?
Yeah, I'm just holding shift.
Okay.
You could make it easier for you to select only the pieces, like only the ore crates. Like here, for example, I'll teach you how to interact with just these ore crates on this side, since I need to lift these up just 12 inches.
Okay.
So on your asset browser, next to the beams, you should see, or next to the beams folder, you should see a eyeball and a lock.
Yep.
If you click the eyeball, it makes them invisible, but you can still interact with them.
Oh, or if you pick the lock,
if you press that lock, you won't be able to interact with them.
So you won't hit that layer at all, just like in Adobe. Okay.
Yeah, so if you press the lock on the beams and now you select over just those cargo crates from like an aerial view, and you do like the just drag select, you will be able to just select straight over those beams and not worry about interacting with those.
But will you be able to select even the ones I can't see on the other side like that?
Yes, it'll go through everything.
Really?
So just select all around it.
Okay.
And there you go. You now have all 27. This just needs to be lifted up about 12 centimeters.
So if I see that angle's bad because I don't want to select all the ones on the other side too.
Yeah.
So I'd want to do this, and then I just want to use my move tool and then come up, right? That.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
Yeah, so that's a little manipulation tool
I like
that will be
that.
super important for when the ship is near completion and you're like, oh, wait, I now need to go in and get some cabling done on the
Right.
interior somewhere where I won't
So you
normally
lock
be
all
able
those
to
other
reach.
layers so you aren't interfacing with those, so you aren't screwing other crap up.
Correct.
Gotcha. So when you go to weld, can you select the whole ship, weld everything you already placed, or do you have to hit each weld, or how does that work?
So you can press the weld tool. I don't
Mhm.
believe there's a hotkey for it, but on your toolbox, it looks like a little screwdriver. It
Yep.
should be the one second to last.
Got it.
There is a apply to all button on the weld menu that should pop up when you click that.
Oh, I see. Apply to all. So you just would hit anything
And
and
then,
everything, and it'd do it all.
yes, you would click one of those orange beams, and when it turns gray again, you know it's welded.
Gotcha. Okay. I see. I see. Yeah, I'm interested when we get to the turret parts, like how much spacing we need to put those guns on there and all that stuff above these cargo crates. Because I am thinking maybe we'll make the modification of putting them on these two lower arms on the front, and then not taking like the arms out this far on the second level, and just leave them one back, if that makes sense.
I'm having a hard time following.
Okay, so like, can you see when I highlight something?
Yes, I can see.
Okay, so like on, I gotta check the beeps. So you see like this section right here?
Yes.
So I'm thinking about cutting that out and making this now the front wall with the door in the middle, and then the turrets would just sit on top of these beams out here.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that
So
would
those are
work.
your two arms on your side. So that way, because I think if we have those gunners up so high, like where above where the pilot is, they aren't going to have a good field of view. So I think, yeah, just do it exactly like that. We'll take these out, and we'll just put a door in the middle, and then they'll walk out from the interior of the ship here. If I can do it. They'll walk out here, get on their post, and then they could gun all. They'll have this whole like nice 180-degree, hey, what's up type area.
Mm-hmm.
I think that'd work well.
Yeah, I think it would work well.
Yeah. But we can make that modification after you copy pasta the crates on the other side back, so that way it didn't screw all your stuff up.
Yeah. I'm just gonna do a few things over here and then we can
Yeah.
begin. I'm just trying to throw these and match the other side.
This is gonna be a badass ship, boys.
Oh, it's gonna be big.
It's gonna be big, but it's gonna be good. It's gonna be a mining
Just gotta
barge.
think of a name.
The consumer.
No, server disconnect.
Oh, you got a server disconnect? Oh no.
Like I'm still here, but I got a big yellow.
Speaking of which,
box.
should I save our work right now?
It does autosave every once in a while, so
Okay. Then we're good. I'm excited. All right, I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back, guys.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm back.
Mm-hmm.
So how many people can you have working in this group mode at once?
I have not found the maximum.
Oh,
We've only found 4 at once. Does work,
okay.
and we've never had more. I would assume we could probably go to 20. Probably 50.
Interesting.
Could always push the limits.
So is this welded on now?
Um, is it orange anywhere with the weld tool?
Um,
Pretty much everywhere except for like 5 beams.
oof. Yeah, it's orange everywhere.
Alright, that means none of it is welded yet.
Okay.
You have to just click on the orange beam with the apply to all.
Well, I'm trying to
then it
pull
should-
this corner off and it won't come off. Why can't I?
That's because you're only on the select tool. You have to put it on the
Oh,
move.
the move. Duh. All right, my bad. It's like, why wasn't it doing what I wanted it to do with the thing?
She's getting there.
Mm-hmm.
One step at a time. It's a long way to go, though.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the good news about having like a personal blueprint that you have, because as you're using it, you will then find issues and then you'll be able to improve on it, and then that just makes it so much more satisfying.
Yeah.
All right. You wanted this top enclosed, right?
Yeah, because I had the second deck, right?
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just trying to make sure.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if I want a big strut beam down the middle of it though,
Mm-hmm.
because the power
Yeah, what I
target's up
was
there.
thinking was I'm trying to think of how to put in a staircase so that you would be able to access the other floor easily.
Well, you don't really need a staircase. You get EVA down, right? A hatch or something.
Mm-hmm.
Staircase might be asking a bit too much.
We're gonna make elevator chairs that go up and down.
Oh boy.
I mean, I know how to make a staircase, but it's just like putting a bunch of beams on top of each other.
Yeah. I'd say let's see how much room we need for all the engine power and everything else before we try to put a staircase in.
Mm-hmm.
In this game, is it possible to make a ship that can be repaired in flight?
I would say yes. A good ship for that would be one of the marmots that's in the Oakham shops. They have maintenance hatches to get inside of it pretty easily.
John Chick says, I bought 3 ships and lost them 3 times in the 3rd zone. A part fell off, and in an attempt to fix it, all pipes and cables break. It's
Yeah,
hard.
that's
It's hard when you're moving because you have inertia, and all the objects around inside your cabin or whatever type of ship you have will be bouncing around in there.
Yeah, the other main issue is that a lot of ships, when they're made with piping and cabling, they'll just put the piping and cabling directly onto like plates and such. So when you remove a plate or any object attached to that piping and cabling, a piece of the pipe and cable will snap when you remove it.
Mm-hmm.
So it just means that you have to be careful what you remove and I don't know, just hopefully having a maintenance hatch will help. That's why I'm trying to plan already in this for how you're going to access different parts of the ship.
I think if you plan when you put your piping and cabling down, if you plan for, hey, what happens if I have to repair this, you're going to be more successful.
Mm-hmm.
But again, while moving, it is really difficult to repair anything.
Yeah, don't do it while moving. Do it while stationary.
Well, that's his question. Is there anything? Is it possible to make a ship that can be repaired in flight?
In flight, it would be very difficult, but you would be able to do it with piping and cabling, not removing objects, because then it would crash into the ship.
Because I don't think there's a way to hold on to something and then cut it loose. That's the main issue you have. Like if I could be in the back of a ship and have Scrub or Laddie there, and they could press E and hold on to the object, and then I unbolt it, you probably could do it. But since that's not possible in the game, it'd be really hard to do because you're going to have that piece go loose and then have inertia and be all over the ship. So, like, say if you wanted to change a plate and you're in the middle of flying, it'd be really hard to drag a plate out of your inventory and have it hold stationary in time for you to bolt it down if you're moving. So how could we make this without this bar in front?
We just remove this. Just put it in there for now,
Okay.
just so that we have the beam work. But we can easily remove what we don't want.
Yep. I was thinking, Laddie, like right here on this one,
Mm-hmm.
if you want, you can make it like this and we could close this off. I don't think we need to go this far back, any farther here, just for structural. So that way, if you
Mhm.
wanted to have an engine room and more room for these motors that we're going to need on this thing.
I don't know if we're gonna need more
Okay.
room for the motors.
Okay.
I can test it real quick how big the triangle thrusters are and see how I can fit them, because I
Okay.
might be able to cut down on some beams. And sort of do a U on both sides if so.
Okay.
But only if it seems like it'll work more efficiently.
Mhm.
Just don't worry about the giant plates you're going to see on the back real quick.
They're just there to bolt the thrusters on, right?
There for just visualization purposes.
Okay.
Who's got this intersection in the front selected?
I might.
It wasn't me.
Delete that shit.
There, it's not selected anymore.
I can hear in Cloud's voice the frustration, like, God damn it!
It's my OCD kicking in.
Trying to keep a clean workshop here, boys. Let's go.
Dude, I feel you, man.
Hey, Sean, what's up, buddy? Emerald Dragons asks, do you have a place for each of these items again once out of the design place, or just have Matt's money like when you're buying a pre-made ship? It's Matt's money to print this. Basically, you're making the blueprint right now. Is what this is.
Yeah, you have to place it in the blueprint, but when outside of it, you just press buy and it assembles it all for you.
Yep. Auto assembly.
It's for the 3D printers. I'm just making the design.
Yep. Yeah, you've already gone through the process of placing each piece once. They don't make you do it again. Unless you have to repair or modify, then that's a whole nother ball wax.
All right. Based on what I see here, if you want, we can make this a big U to save on a little space.
Okay.
Because if you come back here, I did a little visualization of how big these triangle thrusters are.
Okay.
And they line up perfectly with the plate back here, so I know that I'll be able to fit them inside that little gap.
Okay.
So if you want that cut out as a U so that the thrusters are in there, I'll do that. Personally, I think that it is a better decision to do this because it puts it inside the ship a little more, since disabling thrusters is one of the first things that people try to do.
Right. So you're talking about cutting the beams and then recessing this whole thruster panel.
Yes.
Okay. Is that going to be enough thrusters though? Like if you have that whole wall panel there.
So the thing is, I'm not planning on just putting the triangle ones there. I'm planning on putting more on the side back behind the crates here, maybe a few box thrusters above and below, whatever I can to spread out for more maneuverability options.
Gotcha. I'm just wondering how much juice we're going to need in the inside of this thing.
Probably similar to the one that was popped out before. What?
I was told that you need help.
With what specifically?
Well, I
'Cause
mean,
that's very vague. Mental, yes.
yes. How goes the nap production?
The NAT production has not really began. I'm just crafting a bunch of triangle thrusters.
Okay.
I don't have the blueprint for it. I know I was told that it's in Scrub's giant folder of blueprints he gave me, but I'm not looking through that whole folder.
Got it. Okay. So I have everything that we need to learn the autocannons, except for the gears research points. So I'm going to go do a bunch of mining and just start crafting thrusters as well.
Yeah, go for it.
I mean, we'll never have too much.
Yeah, I've just been constantly crafting the thrusters. I think I'm near 17k-ish electricity, and then I'm just going to be pumping out a shit ton of station parts. I probably will need to go to Twisted Station for that, but by that time we should be done with the SSC.
Okay.
And then I should have the PvP Foundation learned tonight, and I will be able to figure out what resources and stuff we need.
Sweet.
All right. Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah. What I'm hoping, I don't have it unlocked, but I'm assuming that the autocannons are going to give a ton of blue.
I believe you should ask Koi about that. Koi has it unlocked.
The
So he might be
autocannons?
able... Yes,
the
the
triangles?
autocannons.
Oh, okay.
So I would ask Koi, just so that you can see what it is.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Yeah. I'll just let you know
Yeah, we should put some
when I
autocannons
get
on
batches
this.
of them.
I mean, at the size it is, I would not disagree.
Battleship miner, go!
This miner can defend itself.
Laddie, are you at SSC right now?
Yes, I am. I am
Okay.
in the SSC.
Cool. I'm pulling up. You want to unload me?
Give me 2 seconds and I
Not
can
in that
hop
way.
out.
Jesus Christ, that sounded funny.
Wait, not in that way? Yeesh. Okay, never mind. You can wait then.
No, he's helping build this Mitachi mining ship here. So
You need me to wait?
no, he
I
can
can
pop
hop
out and
out.
get you in a
It
minute.
would take me a minute.
Yeah. He can pop out and do it here in a second.
Um,
He's just
I'm
putting
just
more
going to-
thrusters on the ship than I've ever seen on another ship before.
I'm just going to take these thrusters and move them a little out. Because for now, we don't really need to put them on. I
Right.
need to figure out how the beams and everything will work on it. But these
We can
will
even
fit
build.
in
We
this
can
gap.
even build a casing around all the thrusters you add if we wanted to shield them too. So it's
Yeah,
however
we
wanna do
could.
it.
That's actually a good strategy for PvP ships. That's what a lot of them do, including what I started doing.
Yep.
I learned that at least from the one
You gotta
dev
protect
that
the weak
absolutely,
parts.
dude, the one dev in the closed alpha, he was a monster. He annihilated me several times. He annihilated a few of us when we 3v1'd him. He only ended up quitting because he ran out of plasma ammo.
Wow.
It was kind of morally defeated.
It's pretty bad when you run out of bullets is the only way you lose.
Yeah, right when he was finishing, he's like, "Yo, I gotta call this. I either A, you destroyed my plasma connection somehow, and I no longer have data connection, or I ran out of ammo." And I just said in chat, please be that I destroyed something.
Natara, thank you for the super sub gift. Appreciate it.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
All right, I got 194 stacks of Bastion on board. You can
Woo.
clear that out, and then
Holy.
I've actually got more than that in the station, but I need you to clear my ship first.
Yep, I am popping out in just a second. Let me do this beam adjustment.
This thing looks so fucking cool. 432 cargo crates. Let's go.
Yeah, we'll be pumping out those miner ships like crazy.
Miner ships. This
Not
is
again, please no.
No, this is gonna be this is the stuff we're gonna be farming for the PvP station. For this puppy. Might even have to bump that cargo crates up to 500. Just make it nice and even number.
I mean, we always could. There will definitely be room on this.
I think so. We'll see. I want this thing to have so much power that I feel radiated when I get out of the captain's seat and walk out of it.
Consider it done.
Nice.
Yeah, probably a lot of the extra space will be utilizing fuel storage racks, just so that you have a bunch of extra, since from the looks of it, you will probably need it.
I think so. Have a 15 canister propellant chain. I wonder how many fuel rods we'll have to run in series to like get this thing going.
This looks like it's about the same amount of thrusters that's on the reality. I always could do a quick number check, because this is only 72 triangle thrusters.
We're gonna be a lot more.
I think the reality has in total 88 or 86 triangle thrusters. I'm just gonna go grab the stuff from
go ahead.
his ship, but this should have that. It should have a little more triangle thrusters there, and then we'll just need to. What I'm gonna do is, before we end up quitting the SSC for today with the beams, I'm going to attach a hard point onto there, because then it'll show us the durability and stress, and then I can show you all about that. So you can try and
heck yeah,
because the beam stress there might be a little extra to try and wrap your head around. So
just add more bolts.
Bolts won't do anything for beams.
Add more beams.
Yeah. If we have to, I'll pull out the super beam structure that sort of cheats the stress system.
I think
but for
Scrub
now,
might
we're
have
gonna
showed
do
me
what I
that
do.
the little beam knot he made or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it where it pushes the inertia from one beam to another beam in a series, so it constantly cheats it.
Yeah, it cheats it just with the math on it. Oh, sweet.
Beans,
I have
bolts, and
only
Battlestar Galactica.
800 more electricity to unlock the solar panels.
Hell yeah.
Shadow's gonna be happy with that. Wait, who am I looking for out here?
Hmm.
I don't know who popped into the channel. I wasn't paying attention. Does anybody know?
I just know the voice.
Well, we'll ask in the company chat.
Yep.
But nobody
fuck.
reads
I
chat.
think it was Twisted and Flyfoot, it looks like. Because I just saw them pull up. If it wasn't, I'm gonna steal their stuff regardless.
There you go. Now they make it so you can't stack a thruster in front of a thruster, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, the thrusters, they
Oh
have like
wait,
a
I have a
cone.
question, Matachi.
Yeah.
So with your ship,
Mm-hmm.
because it'll be a bigger ship, I might actually have a solution for possibly the power issue.
Okay.
So one thing that will make a huge difference is using tier 2 fuel rods and tier 2 generators.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on that?
Sounds great. Let's do it.
All right. I think tier 2 makes it a little more electricity efficient. Tier 3, I think, makes it a lot more power.
As long as we can have enough reserves to keep me going, I should be fine.
Mm-hmm.
I'll eventually train up to where I can refill those too. I can refill tier 1s myself now.
Yeah, totally. I don't know where they unlock though. I assume it's in the tier 2 generator unlock, but there's no picture
idea.
for it there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It may be one of those things that the devs just forgot to add. Like they forgot to add resource bridges for the first 2 days.
Yeah.
So they forgot a kind of integral part of ships.
So I was wondering, like, how do you craft them? As long as we can refill them.
Yeah, what we were doing was Scrub and I, we were building a ship and throwing like 30 of those resource bridge on it from the SSC at least, and then we were going to just buy it straight from materials using that. Because you can buy any item using the materials from the SSC. The only advantage of crafting them is it decreases the credit cost for assembly, and it also gives you the research points.
Now, can you resource bridge to a ship, and then resource bridge that ship to a ship, then resource bridge that ship to a ship, and resource to make like a daisy chain?
Yes. I believe it would be chaos, and I don't know what would happen. But I am scared to do that because
How
of
would it
past
balance the ores
experiences.
and shit? You know, like it'd send them randomly.
Well, I think the ores would stay how they are. The only thing that could change realistically is the it would be the propellant, because you can use the resource bridges to send propellant from one ship to another.
Well, I was thinking, could I make a pipeline all the way out to Twisted Station from here? With
that would
multiple
be-
resource bridges all the way
Theoretically,
Well,
54
what
kilometers.
Twisted was debating about doing was he was trying to attach all those ore crates to the station, and he was going to see just how far he was able to put those, because he wanted to see if he could like extend that out several like 100 meters
Mhm.
and then even farther and farther, and then eventually he was going to try and see if that somehow increased the safe zone by accident through the game bug or whatever.
Yeah.
So
All right, we got a couple of questions in chat. I think I need you to answer.
all right, hit me.
We are not in the easy build area. Modley might be, but Grog asks, why use triangle thrusters versus box thrusters?
So in this case specifically, these thrusters are all inlaid, so we want them all to fit in the space most efficiently. For the box thrusters, they have to be attached sort of sideways onto a wall, whereas these can be front facing. Do you understand what I mean regarding that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
But how much thrust output per triangle versus a box do two
I believe
equal?
I
one
The
box?
believe-
box ones are more than the triangles, but
give me a second. I
use
have
less.
a Excel sheet with the numbers on it.
I'm just curious, just rough numbers. How many triangles equal a box thruster?
I believe it's about 60%, but I need a second.
Okay.
Okay, so if we were to use arbitrary numbers just to get the message across,
Mhm.
a box tier 1 thruster gives 500,000 thrust power.
Okay.
The triangle thruster gives off 300,000, so it's 60%.
So two of these is a little bit more than one box thruster, thus taking up the same surface area. You could probably only fit one box thruster, since it has to be on the exterior sideways, like for every 3 or 4 of these.
Yeah, so what I could do would be give me 1 second, let me deselect some things. What I could do realistically is all of these interior ones keep.
Mm-hmm.
So if I kept all these interior ones, I could have these and put them in, and then put box thrusters around the outside. But those box thrusters would each take about the size of the 2 triangle thrusters. So the triangle thrusters here would be more efficient, and it would work easier depending on how many more thrusters we will be attaching for maneuverability.
There you go. Good answer.
Good question. Okay, now since we have the general beam layout, I'm going to attach these thrusters all to the ship through 1 hardpoint. We're going to need to put more than one for just safety purposes, I guess.
Okay.
Just a little, what's the word?
Redundancy.
That's the word.
I'm all about redundancy, baby.
Yeah. For me, it's
So-
always Murphy's Law.
So as long as they're all touching each other, they act as almost one unit as far as the interface of the hard point goes.
Correct.
But we'll add multiple hard points for redundancy in it. The question is, how many hard points should we add?
Give me a second.
Maybe 4?
We probably want.
That way you have, if you broke out in a regional zone of like, if you look at them as blocks of 9, maybe we need to do 1 for each section there, do 4 of them for redundancy. That way if one area gets shot or something, then you still have an efficient amount of coverage.
Yeah, probably. That would make sense as long as we ultimately make some way to access that.
Yeah.
I would be happy with that.
Because as far as I'm concerned, your access is from the interior over here. You have whatever you want. You know what I mean? It's like where we want there. So we can make a full wall open access panel, or however we want to do it, to those hard points from here in each section.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that be-
So, do you know how the hardpoint connection works on the thrusters?
Now I've heard you have to have the hard point, then you have to have a layer of like the nipple or whatever, and then you attach the thruster onto that, and then all that goes to the cabling. But I've not seen it implemented, so this will be the first time I actually visualize it. I've been told there's like multiple layers to the hard point to engage the thruster to it.
I don't know what exactly you meant by nipple.
Well, there's like I don't know, there's some sort of like you have a flat layer and then there's like an output hard point module thing on top of that. Is that right?
So let me place down a part for you to see.
Okay.
There's different hard points you can use.
Mhm.
I will place all the different hard points back to the side. This is a large hard point.
Okay.
This is a hard point corner. a corner frame, and a support for the large hardpoint. And then we have the good old small hardpoint over there.
Okay, so no nipples. Got it. They're just
Yeah, so
hard
these are the only hardpoints that there are.
points. Okay.
It doesn't matter which one you use. The support frames are useful for the last two ones for bolting down, but typically I have very rarely seen the large hardpoint used.
Now, is there a difference in power or flow through or anything between the small and large, or does it not matter? It's just whatever size
It
fits.
does not matter.
Okay.
It is whatever size fits. So if the large hardpoint worked better for connecting, you could do that for the connection there. But on something a little like this, I guess it's a personal preference what you want.
Is there more
I
durability
always-
in one versus the other,
Um,
or hit points wise? Just asking. I don't know.
I don't believe so. I believe it is all about giving you a little more area to bolt to. Because on this large hardpoint here, it
Mhm.
gives you that little lip over the top of it
Okay.
to sort of mount it against a beam and bolt it. So it's meant for a lot easier access. Whereas this other one, you would need to bolt it to beams in some weird ways that
Gotcha.
not everybody would be comfortable with.
Now, those frames you had up here, are those actual hard points themselves, or just frames for these to interface with?
So they actually go around the hard points themselves
Okay.
somewhere. Give me 1 second to figure out where it goes. All right, so it gets placed like this. Let me try and figure out exactly where. This is just a support frame for it, so I believe this might just go on top of it or something.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this just goes on top of it
Okay.
because you can see the hard point will snap in
Now we
a
got
little.
something else to bolt to for whatever the stuff is that goes on top of it, like wherever you're trying to interface with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say this corner hard point would be best if you were ever to try and want to put like 2 maneuvering thrusters on a weird angled piece
Okay.
or something of that sort. But on this, I would probably just want to show you the easiest thing, which is the smallest thing.
Okay.
So this little hard point, what you're going to want to do is you want to match the blue squares up to one another. So if you see on the back of all the triangle thrusters, there's the blue squares that match what the hard point has.
Okay.
It's kind of like Legos.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
So say that one more time. So it's matching the blue part.
Yeah. Yeah, you have the blue squares match one another.
Okay.
So I'm just going to take this, make
And
a
just
copy
snaps
of it
down
real
on
quick.
one.
Yeah, so I'm just going to snap it onto one of the thrusters. So this is snapped onto that. It overlaps onto the one, but if you look how all the others look, it is matched perfectly onto the one.
Okay. Does it make a clicking sound or anything when you do that to know it's set right, or?
Yes.
So just like when you click in your fuel rods or anything, same type of deal.
Yes, it'll
Okay.
make the normal snapping noise.
Nice.
So
Very
I'm just gonna
satisfying
put it
audio
here.
in this game with the snapping noise. I like it.
Dude, honestly, the audio just out in space in general,
Yeah, it's
dude,
pretty good.
I cry a little on the inside every single time. All right, and now we have the hard points here.
Okay.
What I'm going to do is I need to figure out a way to snap the or bolt the hard points onto the frame itself, which might end up requiring me to put in a few quick beams. So I might need to do a little finessing.
Okay.
I'm going to do something else that's pretty. Actually, I'll have you do this. I'm going to have you create a module so you can see how to create a module so you can select all of these at once
Okay.
with one click of the button. So what I need you to do is highlight all of those thrusters and hard points. If you come from the side, it
Okay.
should be pretty easy to access that.
Done.
All right. Now in the top of your bar, to the right of your undo button, you should see 3 little chests. That's how you can attach to a module that's already there, create a new module, or detach.
All right, wait a
completely.
minute. Where's these chests at again here?
To the right of your undo arrows.
Yeah, there's a little plus.
It looks like a blue treasure chest almost.
Undo arrows. I didn't know I had undo arrows.
To the top.
Oh, it's the top bar. The top
Oh,
of your
right here, the
screen.
little plus create.
Yes. So if you press the plus create, that'll make a module of that for you.
Okay. Oh.
And after you click that, you will see a new one appear.
Yeah,
It should
the white
have
one
a
says
little
save module.
Yeah, so from this, you'll be able to save that module, and you'll be able to paste it out of your SSC basically whenever. So if you ever had another large thing like this, and you were like, okay, I want to paste these thrusters down immediately, you have that. Let's say
Ah.
on the 3x3x3 ore crates, you were going to use this again. You do
Okay.
that. Wait, I need to give a group invite real quick.
Yep.
But from that, you would be able to do that to save, put it in a different build, stuff like that.
Okay.
I have a few modules saved myself, but I have to update my thing, so I can't paste mine to show you.
Gotcha.
But if you were to save it, it may or may not appear right now. There's just the issue of it might just need to update. It's a very finicky system. So did you press save on it?
I did not yet.
I would do that just to test, so you can learn for.
Okay, and then it says new module, save as, and I just label what it would be.
Yeah, label it as what you want, then press enter.
How many thrusters is it?
72. It's a 6x6 box, kinda.
Okay, and then I just click on the save module again and button there, I assume, after I have the label I want.
Yes. Either that or just press enter.
Okay, and it says saving down here in the bottom of my screen middle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now on your asset browser, you should be able to go to the My Modules folder.
Okay.
It would be at the bottom. Is there anything that has appeared?
No.
Okay, so that does need to be updated. There's 2 ways of doing that. One is exiting the SSC and restarting it. One might be entering test mode and whatnot.
Okay.
The other one is just create a dumb save. So just click on one beam and save it, and it'll auto update that.
Okay. So I just click on one beam and save it?
Just click on a random beam and save that as its own module. You can press delete on the module later. It's just to try and make it appear. So create and then save.
Let's write this test. Yep, now I see it, so it forced it to update. Oh, cool.
Yeah, so if you click on that module, now you'll see that it's those 72 thrusters with the 4 hard
Oh,
points on them.
baby. This is
Yeah,
very
so that's
helpful.
how you pull those down. It's useful for creating your own sort of things that you'll use
Yeah,
all
if you
the
wouldn't
time.
make everything from gun pods to something that you could use a little configuration to do on multiple ships. There you go.
Mhm.
I like that.
Like what I did in the closed alpha was I would put ISAN
Mhm.
as a module so that I have all the components, and I would just need to place the module down and then spread it out wherever I wanted to put it on the ship.
Cool, cool, cool.
So it's a good tool to keep useful things together. But from here, I'm just going to. Do you see the giant green circle in the center?
Mm-hmm.
You should be able to click that, and it will select all of them at once.
Oh yeah, because it adds a large move arrows to it.
Yeah. So from here, let me just take access of that, and I will bring that over and try and attach it onto the beams.
Okay.
And then once we do that, I can hopefully show you the durability and everything.
Nice.
All right. I hope you aren't too mad about how I'm going to put these beams, but I'm going to put them however I can get them.
You do you, bro.
I'll try not to be too mad.
You know, I hope you get mad then. Yeah, what you gonna do now?
Oh no, I can't believe you did that. So essentially, do you put these beams and you put those little the beam knot in the middle of them for the stress?
All I'm doing here is I'm just giving it a place so that I can bolt it to it.
Okay.
Just so that I can attach it to the frame.
Gotcha.
There's not really anything else here. If we do end up having the stress issues, which I'm gonna be honest, we probably will. I'm working under that assumption, but once I get this done and we test the stress, we will work from there and be able to adjust accordingly.
Okay.
It's bolts, beams, and Battlestar Galactica.
Only 4 hard points. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need more than 4 unless you just really want a lot of redundancy. Italian. But what I'm
Yep.
told, so.
Yeah, if we want to, based on how the beams are set up here, we could do the more hard points because it's on a straight line.
Okay. Jeep guy asked, ducts versus pipes and cable.
I like ducts if you have a main beam to run them down. The only issue is that they can potentially be buggy and detach mid-flight even without crashing into anything. That is a very rare occurrence, but it has happened to me before, so I got mad and I like to stick to purely piping and cabling.
Makes sense.
PTSD.
Yep. Now let me ask this: when we deal with the stress stuff, it's not really going to have help with what you're doing with stress, because this is just getting surfaces to bolt to at this point for you, for the thrusters.
Correct.
So stress is something we'd have to reinforce from back to front, as far as like what the thrusters put stress on the ship when we get to that point.
Yeah, so it's a bit different for manipulation. It's going to require trying to set up enough beams so that the thrust of the thrusters helps balance things out like that.
Okay.
It's like shipbuilding is like a whole game
Yep. And
on itself.
100%.
Dude, there are people that all they do is log in and build this in the SSC.
I can see that.
I know that whenever we asked in the alpha, like how many people are online, the devs would always say, okay, you need to specify more. Are you talking about in general, or are you talking about like in the actual world, not in the SSC? When we said in the actual world, he would say 20. When we said SSC, he would say 150.
Makes sense.
Yeah, but the crazy types of things that people make when they're in the SSC is awesome. Some people made games as simple as tic-tac-toe. Another guy made the game Battleship,
Mm-hmm.
and like that just requires a shit ton of coding. But he sat there and went through the coding to give it lights, sound effects.
So not only Battleship, but electronic Battleship.
Oh yeah. All right. I put in these beams, so we should be able to bolt in these hard points.
Okay.
Would you do me a favor and weld all the beams real quick?
Okay. I can do that. And I do that just the weld all like we talked about.
Yes, and then you click on the any orange beam, and you should see all of them turn gray.
Yep. They all went gray.
Oh, I can tell. My thing just lagged for a second.
Yeah.
Okay. So press 6. That should take out your durability tool.
Okay.
I'm going to show you what it looks like right now. So left click.
On
Everything on the beams.
everything on the beams.
So if you left click on the beams, you should see a bunch of yellow appear.
We do. Bunch of yellow, and then we see red and orange squares.
Yeah, so the red, I don't. There's no issue with those reds for now.
Okay.
It's very much red because it's saying that there is like no ship connection. What we need to do is we need to add the thrusters to this.
Yep.
So I'm going to need to attach the hard points to the thrusters and then the beams themselves. There's a few ways to do this, but in the way that we have these hard points, there's a small area where you should try and angle the bolts in with the hard points like this. So
Okay.
if you come over to the hard points, I'll show you where I'm bolting.
Okay.
And you should be able to see there's like a little, in the circle, there are bolts going into the beam. So from inside of it.
So from inside the. Oh, I see. From inside the circle going out to the beam.
Yes.
Correct. Okay.
And these are giving
And you
the
just ruined some
attachment.
really expensive speakers there.
Yep. And then another thing to keep in mind is hard points are weird. This is something that a lot of people will mess up and not realize. You have to put just bolts normally into them. I don't know why. It's just part of the connection.
Okay. So that one's gone green now because I'm still on the durability tool.
Yes. So
And that's
that
made all my
now
beams
is-
go green.
yes, because I bolted that into the thruster now.
Okay.
So that's one thruster that's connected to it all.
Nice. And you have to bolt every single thruster?
Yes, but there is an easy way to do that.
Okay.
So come over to the side so that you can have a side view of it.
Come to your side. Okay.
I'm going to need you to select all of those thrusters.
Okay.
Actually, wait, you can do that just with the module. Just select the
The
module
big
for all
green
of those
dot
thrusters.
instead of all the little dots, right?
Yes.
Got it?
All right, from there, you can press the number 9. That'll bring up on your toolbox the auto bolt.
Auto bolt. Okay.
Now, the auto bolt can sometimes be finicky, so make sure you always only do apply to selection.
Okay. Got it checked.
And from there, now since you have the thrusters selected, I would just click, just left click anywhere and it'll auto bolt those items.
Okay.
So now when you go to your durability tool, you should see all those as green. A lot of them are going to give red dots on them, and that is just because they have like a very poor connection right now. I am going to fix that, hopefully, with these other few hard points.
All of them's green. We do have a major stress issue right here at the center post, but we kind of expected that.
Yeah.
Your warp class is 0.05.
We're
Yeah,
not
it's
done
okay.
yet.
It's got a warp class. That's progress.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can't hear most of it, do you? Yeah, we're gonna push this out as a YouTube for sure. I'll chop it down and we'll put it as a highlight in Twitch, and it'll be on YouTube as well for each section. We're not doing the complete ship tonight. I mean, as much as I'd stay up and I'd like to, I'm not gonna kill Laddie. We'll get to a certain point and we'll probably stop. I'll probably piddle with some other stuff, and obviously if you have questions, go ahead. But yeah, we're at least getting this little portion here done where we got the frame, we've done a lot of work, and we got the thrusters on. I can't monopolize Laddie's time all night.
Yes, I gotta get that foundation unlocked, man.
Yep. It's gotta be, we gotta progress the org. So
Rome wasn't built in a day.
it's true. Neither was
But
Mitachi's ships.
a ship was.
You know. So how are we gonna, when we move forward, this is probably a pretty good stopping point right around here anyway.
Yeah, I would say this is most of the basic beam work done. There are a few small things that I would probably want to do before anything else in terms of trying to change to hopefully fix that stress that's on there.
Yep.
Which we might end up having to implement some of that
Hand wavery you were talking about.
yeah, the beam magic. So if we do have to do that, I'll do that with you the next time.
Yep.
But this much is needed so that you can actually see the durability and stress on a ship. So you'll always need to get to this point.
Okay. Looks good, looks good. Fish said, can we repeat how to save sections as modules? It's pretty easy.
You got this.
Yeah, I'll do all that. You're good. So let's say if I was gonna save and stop here, what would be my procedure for that?
So do you want to save? You would go to the file in the top left.
Okay.
You would see the save as, and from there you get to choose what you save this file as. You
Okay.
can always do the save as and override what the name is, but whatever you're saving it as, that's what the ship will be called when you ultimately go to buy it.
That's what I was going to ask. So I figured that would be the thing. So, and that's just a save as. Then there's also, I assume when we're done, we'll go to a save blueprint and buy custom ship.
Yes, so when you
Right
press
on.
save, it'll only just say buy custom ship, but that's what you will go to. So if you hit that right now and you were to go to save and whatnot, you can also go to the top bar. There's a blue circle with a little credit icon that'll show you the material cost with how much this costs right now.
Where's that at?
On the top bar, you should see a
Material?
Yeah, it's a blue little
Like a
orb.
ball?
yeah, the material cost. So if you press that, it'll show you how much of the ore is used right now. So you're using a minimal amount of agitite. You're using 100 stacks of bastium.
Where's it
21
showing me this
stacks
at?
of cherodium. Oh, you're probably pressing the. You probably have the materials pressed. On the top bar, there should be a little blue sphere.
Yeah, I see that. I think I still have the
Yep.
thrusters selected or something too.
Can
Or does
you?
it matter?
Oh no, you're hitting the materials. On the right a little more, there's a blue sphere with credit.
Oh,
symbol.
I see it. Material costs. Got it. Okay, now yeah. That makes sense.
Yes, so that'll show you all the materials that it costs to make this.
Yep.
Right now, it costs a lot of bastium, but that's because you have a lot of ore crates and
Right.
a lot of just stuff.
Yep.
Ultimately, it will cost more of everything. So this won't be a cheap ship.
No.
But it won't be a small ship. Like
That's true.
the reality is 200 crates. This
Yep.
is double.
Yep. Double plus.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. Well, thanks for helping with this, and we'll look forward to hopefully continuing a couple hours of this maybe tomorrow, and we'll see how far we get there.
Sounds good.
All right. Good. As for the people asking about how to do the module thing. These right here basically create a module. All you have to do is select a section or a group of anything, and you can make it a module simply by hitting your plus sign here on the middle top bar. And then it'll bring up this, and then you can choose to save as a module, and then you can label it, and then you'll be able to actually label those. They'll go into my spaceship modules over here. Somewhere in here. Anyway, they'll go into your spaceship modules, and then you can utilize that template on multiple ships. So if you have a thruster configuration, a gun configuration, a structure configuration that you just personally really like, and you think you're going to use it on multiple designs, save it as a module, and it'll save you a whole lot of time and energy.
Yeah, let's say, for example, you always want a control panel, or you want your steering levers all the time.
Yeah.
You just get a module, and you don't have to worry about renaming everything.
Now, do you program in this interface, or does the programming occur after you print the ship?
You can program in this interface. So on the top bar as well, you can see that there is a YOLOL script editor. It is a black circuit chip looking icon. It should be a little left of the material cost. That'll pull up any YOLOL scripts if you use a YOLOL chip.
Okay.
You can also access the data fields on everything and edit that without using that interface. So if you were to click on a single thruster alone, I can show you how to find that data field.
Does it let me click on one alone, or is it the whole thing?
Press escape and then click on one alone. Oh, you have the durability tool selected.
Oh. No, I don't. I think I got one right there.
There you go.
Yeah.
So on that thruster, you selected the module, I assume?
Sure.
Yeah, it looks like you have all 6 pieces selected. So you should have a properties tool on the right side of your screen. It should say properties
Nothing
1 of
selected.
6. Okay, well, reselect that thruster.
Okay. Triangle
So
thruster.
now it'll say 1 of 6 on
Correct.
the top. You can press that arrow to scroll between the different selected items you have.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get to number 3 out of 6, you should see data fields on there. You should see the thruster power level and thruster current thrust.
Do not see that. It says 6 of 6. Triangle, material, combustion.
Go to 3 out of 6.
I don't see.
Only one.
How do you?
only
You
one
just scroll
piece.
through these like the. Okay.
Yeah, the arrow.
Click in the arrow.
Got you.
So 3 out of 6 is the only piece of the thruster that has any data fields. It's
Gotcha.
the thruster base.
Okay. Because the overall thruster itself is kind of a mini module anyway for all the pieces involved in it to make one
Yeah.
triangle thruster because it's multiple components.
Yeah, so I grabbed that thruster from the modules that were pre-made and given to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So if you wanted to find that, the easiest way to find it, I just typed in triangle thruster in the search bar of the asset browser.
Gotcha.
And then you should see under the spaceship modules in the spaceship modules starter kit or the starter kit colored, a thruster triangle. And then you'll be able to take all 5-6 pieces that are connected, already pre-made.
Gotcha. All right. George also asks, he says, so is there somewhere that you can install modules? Can you upload modules from outside the game?
You have to make your modules in here. In terms of install modules, I'm not sure exactly what he means by
I think
that.
because since I've saved this as a component module, I've made the thrusters here. He wanted to know if like somebody else had a module, could I import that into my game and then use their modules somehow?
You can import from either outside the game or inside the game, actually. So there's 2 ways of doing it. Outside the game is the more complex way. The easiest way to do it is, since I'm not the owner of this SSC.
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to save anything.
Right.
if I had any modules of my own, I can paste them down in here, and you can resave that as your own.
So all they'd have to do is join your group with their modules, paste theirs down, then you just highlight it, save it, and then you have their module.
Yes.
Okay.
You can do that with however big of a
But
thing.
you can sell
that would
blueprints
be-
of spaceships and stuff like that, just not the module aspect.
Well, you can do either or.
Mhm.
Both of them will work the same way. If you wanted to transfer an entire ship as a module,
Gotcha.
you theoretically could do that. I would just worry about some of the pieces that some data fields could corrupt.
Right.
We had some issues when doing that with the different transfer methods, whether it was in the SSC doing it this way, or if it was just sending the files to each other outside a game.
Yeah.
But sending the files outside of game is very, very difficult. It takes a lot of workarounds, so that's
Mhm.
something that I wouldn't suggest for everybody.
Okay. But you
It
can
is
you
possible.
essentially can save modules or ships or whatever, and then trade them and do all that stuff between each other.
Yes, like Scrub was, he sent the reality blueprint to the mod chat.
Yeah.
I think he actually sent all of his blueprints from a few days ago in the mod chat, so any of us that are capable of accessing that chat have access to that blueprint. He
Excellent.
obviously didn't want to give it to everybody so that people
Right.
can't just sell it. And
Yeah,
it
we don't
stays
want
in
to
THQ.
get out of the group and then go. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, but selling ships and everything will 100% be a business in this game,
Oh,
whether or not you sell the blueprints or the ships themselves.
right.
Like, for example, I believe Collective, they were talking about trying to sell us one of their PvP ships,
Mhm.
and what we would be doing would be paying like a credit fee every time we build a ship, and we would pay it out to them at the end of the month. And what they would do in respect to that is they would give us any updated blueprints as well. So if they made any adjustments to the ships, they would send us those updated blueprints that they would be modifying and running
Right.
through. I like the idea, but at the same time, I like modifying my own ships.
True.
It gives me that extra satisfaction of saying, I know what's wrong with it, I know what can be improved, I'm going to do this.
But finding out
those
some of these
guys are
blueprints could be
insane.
really. Yeah, I've seen. If you guys haven't looked up some of the Collective as a guild inside this game, they do amazing programming and work on spaceships and stuff. They have some really cool stuff. But I
You
would
also should check out the iSand from Collective. It's the in-game player-made GPS system that is, it gives you a coordinate system throughout the entire game since there isn't a map. It uses a lot of different triangulation code from different stations. I believe they just got one set up and working a few hours ago.
Yep. No, I was gonna say
Shout
another
out
thing.
to Solon.
Yeah.
Shout out to Solon.
Yeah, they do some amazing work. One of the things I was going to say, though, I mean, finding the plans are also not only crucial for building different types of designs of ships. Finding out people's plans can be a security risk because you can see easily how to disable a ship. Like, I know where to shoot at in order to, like, make your entire power system go down. Things like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's why when they talk about, you know, hey, be careful. If there's a weakness in your plans, then you know, and somebody discovers that's where your power core goes through, or that's where this one cable goes through that will disable half your thrusters. It's pretty important to, you know, to kind of secure those type of things too. So it's going to be a
Yeah,
really interesting
absolutely.
game. Really interesting game with all those different things.
Yeah, one other thing to keep in mind though, with the whole blueprint transfer, the devs are a little finicky about that because of the intellectual property.
Mm-hmm.
If you end up finding a way to steal somebody's blueprint and everything, the devs could take action on that. So just a heads up for that. Don't do it. Only get it with consent from the blueprint owner, because at any time they can say, hey, I didn't give you consent, and they will get you in big trouble for that.
So if you see a guy flying through space screaming, I did not consent, you know exactly what that's about.
You can steal their ship that they physically made, but blueprints is where there's an issue.
Yep. Excellent. Yeah, what if they built a weakness in the blueprint they sell you? Well, I can tell you all TPG ships, if we did sell any blueprints, would 100% have a self-destruct button somewhere hidden inside. So
We would definitely have some sort of better working ship.
yeah, we don't
wouldn't be
really
giving
believe
that.
in selling our good stuff. We don't sell the best of the best stuff. We like to use it. Now, if we were retiring an old thing and they wanted to make some money or do something like that, who knows? But right as at this time, we're not actually selling anything.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. All right, while you get to grind them in, I will.
Yep, sounds good. Make
we'll
sure you save the ship, and you are good.
All right, I will hit this file. Save as. What should we call this bad boy, chat? I don't know what to call it.
Liberty Prime.
No. Didn't all those hard engines need a hard point for each one? That is, no, they do not. They actually only need one hard point because they work in unison since they're in proximity. You only need one. But we put up multiple hard points on it for redundancy. So should a hard point go out or get damaged or anything, you won't lose every engine.
Yeah, so if you look on the triangle thrusters, whoever asked that, they have little blue connection points, and from that point, all the triangle thrusters will share power between one another if the ships are, if those triangle thrusters are powered.
There you go.
So you technically only need one to power the entire thing, but we
like
don't trust one.
Yeah, we like redundancy. Might even add more before we seal it up. Who knows?
Just in case an asteroid just crashes through.
Or I back up into somebody really hard or something. You never know. All right. I think for right now we'll go with the collector. We'll call it that for the time being.
The Metani.
No.
I was thinking like more Big Betty or Bessie.
Well, we had Big Mama as a suggestion in there, but all I can do is hear Burke's RP voice whenever I hear Big Mama, because he did the whole thing. Big Mama. So you know, yeah. But we'll go with that. So that should be saved now, right?
Yep. Once you have it saved, the saving thing should pop up at the bottom saying saving, saving, saved. And then when you go to file, you can look at exit. And if it says exit with exit while saving, that means it hasn't saved yet. If it just says exit, you're good.
All right, it just says exit. So is there any other way I should double check to make sure it's sitting there before I exit? Or
Press open and manage blueprints.
Okay. There it is,
and
the
you
collector.
should sit in there. All right, you're all set.
All right. Nice.
All right. Part 1 done.
Part 1 done. Part 18 coming soon.
Dude, the next parts are where the fun begins.
Yeah. We'll get it.